What's up, world, and welcome to Mike Drops, the show of, by, and for creatives. My name is Mike Thompson, and today I will be reviewing the Wacom ProPen3D, and I'll be showing you how to maximize its mobility. First thing you're going to notice is I'm not in my studio today. I'm actually in my dining room, and I am in here because I am going to be talking about and reviewing the new Wacom ProPen3D. That's right, there is a Pro Pen for 3D users, a stylus by Wacom, which is pretty dope. I'm going to be telling you what I think about it. I've had it for about a week, and so let's do this. Now you might be asking yourself, do I really need a 3D stylus? So if you're anything like me, you're trying to get more and more mobile. However, if you look, this is kind of the rig that I have to use. You know, I need a keyboard if I'm using ZBrush. I have my mouse there in case I'm using Maya. You know, you got to plug into the dongles. It's got the USB-C, so you see I have a hub and my big flash drive card, and it all plugs into a base that has a fan because I don't want it overheating, right? So a lot of stuff. It goes from being super mobile, like a super computer that you can sit on your lap, to kind of being a computer that needs all of this stuff attached to it. So still great, but I can't really balance it all on my lap if I'm at my son's hockey practice waiting in the cold. So anyway, we're going to fix all that with this guy, the ProPen3D. The first thing you'll notice after looking at the box is it looks pretty sleek. It actually, well, you know what? Let me just show you the actual pen. If you open up the box, you'll see that it comes with one of these cool kind of cigar case things that Wacom is using now. Looks like it should be an Evangelion or something like that, but open it up and there is the ProPen. And it kind of looks like the stylus that's already out, the ProPen 2. However, if you take it out, you're going to notice that first, no eraser. They got rid of that. I've been using a Wacom product of some kind for the past, I don't know, 15 years or so, and I have not really used the eraser so much, right? It's a great concept, but it takes longer for me to flip it around and use the back end than it does just to hit the E button. And if you're in 3D, you don't really need to erase. So if you're in a 3D application such as Maya or ZBrush or Mudbox, something like that. The other thing you'll see is that there are 3 buttons now. That's right, 3 buttons. So you have your original rocker panel here with the front and rear button, which you can assign to do 3D functions like zoom in and rotate around. And you have the third button here for the third input on these 3D apps. For me personally, I'm using it for ZBrush mostly. I haven't really set it up for Maya just yet because I'm really more of a 2D guy. You guys know that. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I use it now. Okay, so now you can see I've opened up ZBrush. I have my sculpture here, little carnage action, and I'm just panning around with my stylus. So what I've done is I've assigned that front button to be the Alt or Option on a Macintosh. And you can see as I click on the screen and drag it around, it moves. As I lift up the pen and let go of the Alt, it pans in and out. Okay, and the back 2 buttons I've set to be the select keys. So the front toggle will do a mask, the back toggle will do select, whether it's the lasso or the rectangle. So now if I zoom in, you can see that it's very easy. I can do it all with the stylus, right? Drag it around where I want. Very nice, very nice. No keyboard needed, no keystrokes needed. It's all done with the new button. You might be thinking to yourself, big deal. I could do that before. I just had those things mapped to the toggle. Well, that's true, but now you can do another thing, which is the Alt, which is something that I use all the time. I usually have my finger kind of resting on the Alt when I'm in ZBrush. Okay, so now I want to draw a mask, which I have set to the front toggle. And I'm just going to select the object. I'm going to click on it and drag out the mask lasso. All the same functions that I would use for my mask. If I hold down that front toggle and click on the object, it will smooth it, the selection. Because it's kind of high res, I should probably drop the resolution here. And once that's down, it'll smooth a little easier. And you can see I just click on it, smooth, smooth, smooth. Reverse it by clicking off the model, and then I can click and smooth it some more. And so at this point, if I wanted to make the muscles bigger, I could just select my inflate brush, and you can see it's only going to affect where I don't have the mask. Everyone knows that that's how masking works. I'm not telling you anything new. But the new thing is now I've done all of this without using a keyboard. So just select off the model, and now I've deselected the mask, gotten rid of the mask, and I can use the third button, which I have designated as Select Lasso. And I'm just grabbing the hand here. I like it. You can zoom in again. All I'm using is the buttons on the stylus. Rotate it around. I like this, and now I can start to sculpt. Okay, so I have my hand. Now I want to sculpt on it, and you'll see that I've done all of these things with the buttons, and that is much nicer. Much nicer than, you know, having to use my keyboard. But you might be saying to yourself, okay, well, I got 3 buttons now. There's a whole lot of buttons that I need to navigate on ZBrush or whatever 3D app I'm using, and that's true. So what I've done to get around that is to set up a bunch of macros, which are very easy to pull up, and they'll allow me to free up my space. So if you look at my screen here, it's a custom layout, and I have everything that I use for ZBrush on the screen all the time. That's nice when I'm working on my Cintiq, but when you're on the Mobile Studio Pro, there's only so much real estate. So you can see I have on the left-hand side my layers, but maybe what I want to do is I want to shrink down those palettes, maybe collapse those palettes, give myself some more room to work. And so what I've done is I can get those out of the way, which I'll show you in a minute. But in the meantime, let's just sculpt a little bit of detail on this hand. So I'm just going to select my Damien standard brush. I want the draw size to be smaller, and you can see it's kind of big here. What I normally have to do is select the B key and then size it, or on the Mobile Studio Pro I could collapse that layer, and you see I can just kind of scale it at the top, but I don't want to do all that. So that's where those express keys come in on the side, and on the touch sensitive circle there, what I can do is I can just rotate my finger around, and you see the brush size changes, which is pretty sweet. Just like in Photoshop, you can use that wheel to interactively size your brush. No worries. So I've done that, got the Damien standard, and you can see now without selecting anything other than the screen and my stylus, I can dig into the mesh. If I hold the front button, which is my Alt, I can pull out of the mesh and get a inverted stroke. All right. So what you're looking at here is my setup for the express keys. You don't have a whole lot of express key buttons, so what you probably want to do is maximize your usage of them. All right. So now you can see that I have my radial menus. For ZBrush, there's a lot of commands that are used, and normally that's what you'd have that keyboard for. Again, we want to alleviate the keyboard, just use the ProPen3D. And so what I've done is I set those functions that you need keys for onto radial menus or buttons. You could just put them all on the screen at one time. I did try that, but it takes up a lot of real estate. So what I did was I set them inside of a central radial menu. I can click on a button on my express keys, and it will pull up that radial main menu. There you go, ZBrush radials, and you can see I have A through E. So click on A, and you can see that I have the things like primitives, brushes, alphas, things of that nature. So click on those, and they kind of all pop up the way that you would expect. The ones that I use mostly are D and E, which are all of my custom brushes, which usually reside on the right side of my shelf, but I can collapse both sides of my shelf now, and you see I have a lot of real estate. right? So this is the Mobile Studio Pro, but it looks like a full, giant screen because I got rid of those sidebars. And at any time, I can just press the button, pull up one of those radials, and if I need to do a BPR or something that's not on the screen, I can automatically do that. And I have touch sensitivity on, so I can use those buttons just like they're physical buttons, just press them with my finger. I don't even have to use the pen. So if I wanted to use my left hand and press the buttons and keep sculpting with my right hand, I could totally do that. Okay, so I've been talking forever. I'm going to tell you what I think. Thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm giving it a 3/4 thumbs up. I like what they're doing. I like the effort. I like the fact that they're catering to a 3D audience. The elephant in the room is the fact that it does not work with existing Cintiqs that are for the desktop. It will work with the Mobile Studio Pro and the current Cintiq Pros, but those are small formats. And it's going to work with the upcoming large screen Cintiqs, the big boys, but those aren't out yet. So obviously that is factoring into what I'm thinking. But overall, nice piece of equipment. It feels nice in the hand, and I like what it does. If you're listening, be sure to include this in the box with the 28 and the 32. It'd be a shame if it didn't come with this. All right. Please like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Hashtag MIKEDROPS on Twitter. Let me know what you want to see on future episodes. And check my website, MikeTArtworks.com. Peace.